Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to continue our journey into building the front-end section of our cross-platform application. As I said before, we're going to focus on one particular pattern, which is feature-driven approach with clean architecture. So right now we're going to build our first feature. It's going to be a module. It's going to be the core of our application within the resources folder, JS and source folder. So here I'm going to create a brand new folder. I'm going to call it core. So basically this is going to be the core module of our application, because right now we're going to follow clean architecture. It's going to be the data, and another folder, it's going to be domain, another folder, util. I'm going to need actually another folder. It's going to be called router. So inside the data folder, a new folder, it's going to be for dependency injection, another folder, DTO. The last, it's going to be the mapper. We're going to start with the DTOs. First one, products preview. We need to use, of course, the export keyword. I prefer to declare the DTOs as an interface. It's going to have an ID, title, category, again as a string, price, going to be a number, thumbnail, perhaps going to be null. Here I'm going to create a new file. It's going to be image DTO. So this is the image DTO. It's going to have the unique ID, file name, preview, and original image. Can now safely create the product DTO. So this is the product DTO, and we need to import the image DTO, wishlist item DTO. So it's going to have the ID, the product's ID, perhaps going to be available or not. And of course, for the product detail, we could have the product's DTO or not. And now we will create the user DTO. For the user DTO, it's going to be pretty simple. It's going to have the ID, the name, email, verified ads. It's going to be a string because it's a timestamp, and an array of wishlist item. So we have to import the wishlist item DTO, and that's pretty much it. Pagination response, to see the structure of the DTO, what should look like. We do have something like data and meta and links. So we're going to transform this into DTO. So I prefer to write this one so I can explain some stuff. So it is an interface. We have the data that should be an array, but we have to make it generic. So it doesn't matter which DTO we are going to deal with. We need to do it in a generic way. We need to create here generic T, and it's going to be an array of type T. Pretty simple. And the next one, it's going to be links. This is not, those keys are not mandatory, but we're going just to add them for the sake of reusability for the future. Maybe in your projects, you're going to need something like this. So this is basically our DTO. The next one, it should be the search pagination DTO. It's going to have the data, an array of type T, and we're going to declare here the T generic. We're not going to map everything or to transfer everything. I'm going to create a new file that's going to be index.typescript. And inside the index.typescript, I'm going to export everything here. We need to write down the models because the mappers are going to transform or convert the DTOs to models. So inside the domain layer, we're going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it model. In order to save some time, I'm going to give you the models that I have prepared for this tutorial. We have exported everything so we can use the model folder as a module. Now we have to create the mappers. So the first mapper that we will do is to convert from the image DTO to the model DTO. So again, inside the data layer, we need to create a new file. Let's call it image mapper. We're not going to handle here in the web version caching because there is no need, so it's not going to serve purpose. But in other applications, we need to actually create another layer, which is for entities, and that stands for the models for the database, and the mapper is going to convert from entity to DTO and vice versa, and entity to model and vice versa, and DTO to model. So it's going to be a little bit complicated, but this is how we do that. So for the first converter or for the first mapper, it's going to be for the image. So basically, I'm going to create a function. I'm going to call it toImage. So it will take in parameter a DTO of type image, and it will give us the model. So now we will destruct the object image, and it's going to return a new instance of type image. So in the same manner, we're going to create the rest of the DTOs, except I'm going to show you guys there is a small trick here that we have to do, but I'm going to write down and explain this briefly. So I'm going to paste the rest of the DTOs except for these two ones, all right? Products mapper, it's very simple for the products preview and one for the products. For the user, it's going to be the same thing, and for the wish list, it's the same thing. Now let's move to the pagination mapper. It has a small trick to it because we are dealing with generic. As usual, it's going to be export function. It's going to take in parameter the DTO, pagination response DTO. That's going to be generic. And it's going to give us pagination response, which is the model of type model. So this is what we have done here. Here we have generic of type DTO, and we have another generic of type model here in the model pagination response. So now the question is how to assign these two generics in the function. It's pretty simple. Here we're going to add model as the first parameter and the DTO as a second types parameter. And we need to return something. So we will return a new pagination response model, and we have to fill the constructor. So the first one, it's going to be the DTO.data, and we need to map this data somehow generically. Call the function map, and we need to pass in parameter entity, and it's going to be of type DTO. The thing that we will use, it's the same thing as the implementation of the map function. As you can see here in the syntax, we have something like callback function of some sort. So this is basically the same idea that we will use. We will add here another parameter. Let's call it callback function. It doesn't matter how it's called. And it's gonna take in parameter the value of type DTO, and it's gonna give us a model. All right, so inside here, going to use the callback function, and we'll pass in parameter entity. And we know that this callback function is going to give us the model instead. And we're going to fill the rest. So that's pretty much it. So the use of the DTO is going to be the same as map function from TypeScript. Now we need to create the index file in order to make our life easier by reusing this mapper folder. Going to export everything that is inside this mapper folder. So far we have declared our DTOs, our models, and the mappers. Nothing substantial here. Now we need to see the mechanism of dependency injection in TypeScript. In order to use Vuetify, we need to create two files. The first one, it's going to be for the Vuetify configuration folder, and the second one, it's going to be for the service identifier. And service identifier is the symbols that will be used to get the needed dependency. So let's configure first of all the Vuetify. So we're going to create a new file. It's going to be called vuetify.config.TypeScript. So inside this file, we will create a new container. So the container is a class from Vuetify. We will register, I'm going to comment here, register all the application modules. What I mean module, DI modules. So I'm going to add here DI modules. Then finally, we're going to export the container so we can use it afterward. For now, we don't have any DI module yet, but once we are going to build the feature, for example, the product feature, we'll add here something like register product feature module, and we would pass into parameter the container so we can register all the dependencies. So this is my preferred scalable way in order to scale the dependency injection container. So
we're going to delete this because we don't have any module declared so far. So that's pretty much it. This is the configuration that we will use. And now we will declare another or create another file that's going to hold the symbols to allow us to detect and assign the dependencies with symbols. So it's going to be service identifier. So inside the service identifier, we're going to export const, let's call it service identifier. We will try to create symbols for all the dependencies in the project. For example, we need to create, let's say, products repository. So we will do product repository, and we will assign to this product repository a symbol. So it's going to be symbol for, with the same name here, product repository. So we can easily identify the dependencies. So far, we don't have any repositories created and no classes that we have to inject. So I'm going to leave it empty. I'm going to create here just another index file. So that's pretty much it. We are done with the configuring dependency injection. I guess that I'm going to wrap up the video here, and we will see in the next tutorial or the next video the implementation of the util packages, because I'm going to handle here some useful stuff for our application. So basically this is the main idea behind the core. So reusable stuff that you will need throughout the application. So I hope you liked the video. See you in the next one, and happy coding.